Hey everyone, it's Jim from Radio Wasteland Records, and we have got a special treat for you now on the channel. Joining us for a quick chat is the one, the only Michigan Rock and Roll Legends Hall of Fame, three-time inductee, member of the Bossmen, Terry Knight and the Pack, Grand Funk Railroad, Mark Farner's American Band, and now another solo album. Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only Mark Farner. Mark, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us tonight.
Brother
You are
Jim,
a busy,
good to be back, brother.
You are a busy dude, aren't you?
Yeah, man, busier than a one-eyed cat watching two rat holes.
Holy smokes. You know, we talked
inside the room.
we talked a few years ago, and you were a busy guy then, but that was in the midst of the weirdness of 20 and 21.
Yeah.
And that was around the release time of, you had a DVD that came out down in Brazil. That was quite the thing. But in that time, part of this busyness here in this year, the Tour 24 took you back down to South America, didn't it?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, we went down, had a few dates down there, saw some of the people, some of the promoters that had me before, and the people, the audience down there just ate us up. They love that Flint, Michigan rock and roll, dude. They're under the hypnotic spell of funk.
That is great to hear, and I'm glad that type of Michigan music is alive and well, even in the Southern Hemisphere.
Yeah, man.
So let's talk a little bit about this big announcement. We saw this fly by on my Facebook feed, at least a few weeks back. You have got a new solo album coming out here in November. This is going to be what, your seventh solo album, eighth?
I haven't been keeping track. You would know better than me, brother. You got the Wasteland Records, dude.
There we go. Seventh. So this is looking like it's going to be your eighth solo studio album.
Oh man, that's great. Thank you for keeping me up on that, brother Jim.
We're keeping track here. And this one is called, it's called Closer to My Home. And this is kind of help celebrating this. This is hard for me to believe also, but the 55th anniversary of that original Grand Funk album, and the song, which is really kind of, it's really the epitome of Grand Funk Railroad, I think. It's not as funky as others, but it's one of your signature songs.
Yes. And thank you for that. 55 years. I could have swore you said 55 years, brother.
I can feel that sometimes too there. But tell me a little bit about how this came about and what made you decide to, I mean, obviously you're a busy guy. You're still being nice and creative. You're still coming up with a lot of great music. And this is an album full of new music, but there's an old favorite on there as well.
Oh, yeah. And the reason I put it on there, 55 years is kind of special for a song. Well, Mark Slaughter is the producer. Mark Slaughter and I both were at Rock and Roll Fantasy Camp in New York City. And David Fishoff, who runs the camp, owns the Rock and Roll Fantasy Camp, a wonderful man. He's a rocker from the day he was born. This guy is a rocker. Anyways, he came to me and he says, Mark, Howard Stern wants you to come over and play I'm Your Captain on his show. And I said, now? He said, today, dude, can you get it together and go over there? And I said, yeah. I mean, how does he want it? Does he want the band? Does he want me to just do it by myself with an acoustic? I said, I'd rather do it with a band. He says, take the guys, because there was Kip Winger on bass, Sandy Gennaro from Joan Jett's band on drum, Teddy Zigzag from Guns N' Roses on keyboard, Bruce Kulick on acoustic guitar, Mark Slaughter on second guitar, me on first. And we went over there, and it's a small TV studio, but we got set up in there. It's a good thing we love each other. We were so close. And everybody puts their cans on, and we start the music, and I'm like, I can't hear right. So I just take my headphones off, so I'm 2 feet away from Slaughter. He's singing, am I in my cabin dreaming, or are you really scheming? He's doing this sweet harmony, man. I mean, he's hitting it perfectly and so smooth. And I knew he could sing, but when I heard him sing before, he's going, wah! I mean, no, he's up there scream singing. And when he did this harmony, it surprised me. I told him, I said, man, you have got a sweet voice. you controlled it. It was perfect pitch. I never really expected that, but here he is 2 feet away from me, dude. I am telling you about it right now, Jim. I'm getting goosebumps. It was that good.
Wow.
So he said, I want to send you something, Mark, and I want you to give it a listen. So he sent me some music, and it was stuff that he had written, and it was just the sound of it, the stereo, you know, the half a pie. I could hear the guitar setting right there. I could hear the keyboard. I could hear the snare, the mount tom, the other mount, the floor tom, the kick drum, and the hi-hats over here. I mean, it was amazing separation in stereo. I'm sure you can appreciate
Oh
this.
yeah. Oh yeah.
So I call him up. I said, dude, you know, I wasn't just going to type him back in an email. I wanted him to know how sincere I was about the way I felt listening to his music. And I said, who produced that? He said, I did. He says, I want you to know something, man. I have got it down, and I want to produce you. I said, you want to produce me? It's like, pinch me. Mark Slaughter going to produce Mark Farner? Yes. I said, man, let's do it. And he said, start sending me some of the music that you're working on. Let's kind of get it going. So I sent him a few tracks that I had been working on. You know, it took us 2 years to do this, but he's a touring musician. He's busy. I'm a touring musician. I'm busy. He'd be out for a couple of weeks. He'd come back. Then I'm gone for 2 weeks. I mean, it's like that was kind of how it took this long, but I'm glad it did, because it gave us time to set on it and listen to things and really be satisfied with the end product. And we are so satisfied and so geeked about this music because the separation is there. You can hear the guitars, you can hear the bass, the keyboards, the drums. We had several different drummers on this that all kicked ass, and it's Michigan rock and roll, brother. Yeah, man. I'm
So
proud of it.
nine tracks on the new record, and 8 of them. Well, there's 10 if you count the CD, but we don't talk CDs in this case. Very cool looking artwork. I got to ask about the barn. I like old barns. Is that something important on the cover?
It's an American barn. It's in the USA. But look at the clouds. It's not a blue sky. It's not a sunny day. In fact, there's some darkness up in there at the top. You can see the barns could use a little repair right there at that big barn in front. Look at the roof towards the back, and you can see some of the boards are missing. So it's like the way we are right now. But that flag on the end, that's our heart, man. No matter what is going on, we have to remember who we are. Everybody that wants to come here for that freedom, for that flag. That flag is, there's like no other flag like that flag. And
Very
here,
cool.
and the back, let's see, I got to do it opposite of the way I think.
Yeah. All right. We see it right.
Yeah. And that's my Betty, my guitar. And my mother's name was Betty, Elizabeth Jane. People called her Betty. I named my guitar Betty after my mom because she was the one that got me into playing guitar when I was 15 years old. And the hat is a Huck hat. And Huck Johns is in Tennessee. He makes these hats out of beaver felt. And man, I said, if you can make me a hat that matches Betty, I'll wear it. And so he did, man. And I think it's styling. And the music on this album, I think people are really going to enjoy it. It's, you know, it's classical Mark Farner stuff. I'm saying something. I'm not talking about, you know, just the fluff and let's find a new way to sing about loving, or no. Find a new way to sing about living and the truth, and making that flag mean something. It's not for people to come here from other countries and bring their flag and wave it and separate. No, it is put all that stuff away and get under our flag. Our flag represents freedom, and many, many, many souls have died for us to sit here in the middle of this freedom. It's all about that, and this record brings it.
Very cool. So the songs really speak from your heart about this.
Yes, absolutely.
Now, musically, it's got some rock, it's got some funk as well,
Yeah.
correct?
Oh yeah. The Prisoner. Ooh.
I gotta ask about one of the songs though on here. On the sample cuts I've heard, there's a song called "Anymore." Can
Yeah.
you can you tell me a little bit about that? Because the lyrics I heard were, I guess, intriguing.
Uh-huh. The second verse.
Yep.
In the beginning, it was me and my band.
Yep.
It's sad to say that we don't play together anymore. It's not the quantity, it's the honesty, my friends. The story ends, and I'm not angry with them anymore.
Wow.
So it's about forgiveness. It's about that love. And don't you know that forgiveness is the definition of love? It's all about that. I feel good when I can turn it over to that genuine feeling that each one of us has in us. We got it. Every one of us have it in our heart. Sometimes we got to get the crap off the way and shove the bushes over, but we got it. And it's just waiting for us to get in touch with it and let it shine. You know, let ourselves off the hook, man. We got so much regret we're living with. We got, people that did us wrong, and we oh man, we got to forget all that stuff. Forgive it, forgive it, forgive it. Love is forgiveness. So forgive all that stuff and tune into the beautiful, the occurrence of a blossom of that flower, man, in your heart when you can sincerely put that stuff aside. The power in you is yours to do with what you want to do. Don't let anybody push you around. Don't, put you in debt consciousness. Debt consciousness is the plague of mankind. And it's not just monetary debt. It's the debt of unfulfilled expectations of other people. And it is the debt of regret. It is the debt. I mean, there's so many different definitions of debt, but think about it, brother. It's imaginary. You can't go buy a box of it at the store and see what it looks like. Dump it out. I don't know. Or back a truck up in the front yard and dump 10 yards of debt in there and kind of wade through it. Let's see how this feels. No, it's all here. It is all the stuff that kills people. It is.
Would you say that the song "Anymore" was a little therapeutic, getting that written and recorded for you?
Oh, man, yes. It helped. I had it in my heart. I have said it so many times, but recording it and singing it, Brother Jim, oh man, that's therapy. And when we're talking about it, when you brought it up, it's like, man, I am happy when somebody wants to bring up forgiveness.
Side note on this, and just kind of asking off the side, have you shared that with the old bandmates?
No, I can't share anything with them.
No.
I mean, yeah.
Hopefully the forgiveness down the line.
Yeah. I have got it in my heart, and whatever they're doing, I love those guys. I just hope that I hope for the sake of the fans that they get back together with the original three, because only three people can make that noise. Yep. Only three. And we're still alive and sucking air. And when the Beatles were all alive and sucking air, Jim, I said, why don't those guys just bury the hatchet and get out there for us fans? I wanted to see them live. I wanted to go see the Beatles. Seriously. I really wanted them to, put an end to it and get back out there and make our day, because there would have been millions of fans just loving that stuff, man. But hey, and I can appreciate what a Grand Funk fan wants, because I know what I wanted, being a Beatles fan, and just want those guys to, get back together for me.
One can always hope here.
Yeah,
Let's talk about the signature song on your new album, and that is a re-recording of "I'm Your Captain."
that's right.
For the home, the parenthesis on there. A big hit from 1970 for you guys on the album, and I'll show that off. That's my OG copy
All
right
right.
there of
Good
Closer to
man.
Home. Uh, and that song is, as I mentioned earlier, is just, I think it is synonymous with what Grand Funk is. It may not be the most rockin' song that's out there, but it takes the listener on really kind of a two-tiered journey, and people can read into the lyrics and the title whatever they want. You hear
Yeah.
everything from the literal interpretation. It's about a captain who went through a mutiny. You can talk about it's a journey of self-exploration. However folks want to read into it, it's a
Yeah,
song
man.
that has resonated with generations and generations of people.
Yes.
And for you to include this on the new album, I think is something special to not only harken back, but look forward to you as well for something that's very important to your past and now
Yes.
your current state.
Yes. Keyword important, brother, because of where I am in my mind and what I discovered about frequency. Here, maybe 20, 25 years ago, I started playing in a different standard. You know, the standard for the United States, the tuning standard is A440, and that was established in 1953. Prior to 53, the tuning standard was A432, count backwards from 4, 4, 3, 2. That frequency, that range as a tuning standard is compatible with all natural things, especially water. And how much are we water? I mean, we're like 80, 90%
Yep,
water, right, Jim?
you bet.
So, so I saw a video of this dude put a speaker next to his kiddie pool on the deck, maybe 6 foot around, and it had, 10 inches of water in it. He put a 15-inch driver, a single 15. He had a tone generator and an amplifier. And so he hit A2 in 440 standard at 125 decibels. And 90 decibels, man, is the threshold of pain.
Yep.
So
Oh yeah.
it was smacking that water, and the water was just like an ocean, chopping all up like it was a storm on the ocean, froth and bubbles and foam and all this crap. And man, I'm looking at it and thinking, wow, man, that volume, that frequency, that tone was really disturbing that water. So then he shuts it down, lets the pool go back down to just, nothing there. He hits the pool tuned to 432, the same note in a different scale, just, 8 lower. And that is so minute, you wouldn't think it would make much of a difference. He hit it at 125 decibels, Brother Jim, and it was flat as glass. There was not a ripple. There was not any detectable disturbance on this water. I mean, nothing. I mean, and it's the same 125 decibel. It's the same volume, dude. At 432, it still hurts. It's still loud, man. But just think about that. If you're mostly water, and this 440 is just smacking you, music out of the speakers is beating us up. But 432, it's becoming you. It's in you, dude. I'm telling you, this is it's part of the solfeggio frequencies, of solfeggio scale that was rediscovered. I think it was in 1971, but it was back in the 14th century when they came up with the solfeggio scale. And 432 is in there. And I have been playing in 432 for all these years. I even did the Happy Together, the tour with Dave Mason and Felix Cavalieri, Rick Derringer, all these guys. We went out, we played in 4-3-2. They loved it. Flo and Eddie, they loved it. It was a happy time. And I explained to them why we should. It was very, understandable by these musicians. They wanted to, treat people right. Well, let's do it in 4-3-2 then. All right, let's do it. And every tour that I have played on, including doing the world stage with Jim Peterick, these guys tuned to 4-3-2 for me. Everybody, when I play with, sit in with other people, I say, I have to do 4-3-2, you guys, or I can't do it. I don't want to hurt nobody.
Something that's more in tune with the human body is basically.
Yeah, man. Oh, it's in tune with nature.
There we go.
In nature, everything in nature, it doesn't smack. It just becomes part of. There's no noticeable pushing.
There we go.
Yeah, it doesn't, punch its way into you. To redo this song in 4-3-2, man, it touched so many people. A lot of Vietnam veterans.
Yep.
They clung to the words. They played this song over and over and over again on the way home. They played it when they were in the hooch, when they were in trouble, when there was bullets flying over their head. They had this song running in their head because they wanted to. Every one of them wanted to be closer to home. And when I did the 25th anniversary of the wall, the Vietnam Veterans Monument in DC, the Vietnam Veterans of America asked me if I would come and sing my song to commemorate the 25th anniversary. And I said, are you guys going to have a stage and lights and a PA? Yeah, man. And I said, I'll tell you what, I'll come and sing my song, but I'll bring my band. It won't cost you guys nothing. It'll be a free show. We'd like to do a complete show for the veterans that show up there. And so we did. And dude, it was 36 degrees. We are in the dressing room, man, holding onto light bulbs, trying to warm our hands up so we could play these guitars out there. But when we got to I'm Your Captain, it was not only the U.S. soldiers, but it was the Canadian Vietnam veterans and their wives and the people, hugging and crying when we're singing the song. And I'm trying to sing with this softball right here, dude. I was choked up. But what a phenomenal, emotional, satisfying moment to see. Cool. To see, that's what the song's about. And it's not like it's what you said. It's not this, it's not that. A jock at WNEW in New York City told me, he said, Mark, we ask 100 different people to write the definition, what they think the definition of Bridge Over Troubled Water by Simon and Garfunkel is. And he said, dude, we got 100 diversely different explanations. He says, there wasn't even any two that were close, nothing. He said, it's so far out. I said, that is wonderful because that kicks in your imagination. Each one of us, it's like somebody reads a book and then they go to see the movie. They say, that movie sucked because our imagination is so good. God gave us this thing and we don't exercise it enough. We kind of got lazy with those damn videos. It was like, oh yeah, that's what it's all about. No, that ain't what it's about. It's about Bridge Over Troubled Water. It's about I'm Your Captain. It's about the imagination. And if I could influence young bands to do something, I would say, play your music with no click track, play to the drummer like we used to do. Don't click in time with AI. Screw AI. They're copying us. Man, we're human beings with feel and emotion. That's what it's about. Get somebody to get in touch with their imagination, entangle themselves with their mind, and you put your love in that music, you put it in there, and you mean it with all your heart, you're going to touch some hearts.
Very cool. Now, I've got one other question about that song in particular. The original version of I'm Your Captain, Closer to Home, had, I think, in my opinion here, one of the greatest long fades in rock and roll history at the end.
Yeah.
Okay, just it goes. I put that up there with the likes of "Hey Jude," "Traffic's," "Low Spark of High Heeled Boys," and "Closer to Home." It's just that kind of a fade out that carries you and carries you. It makes you float almost away as the song just very slowly. Now, were you able to, or did you want to recreate that kind of experience at the end of this song, which is also the end of this new album?
Yes. Yes. In fact, we didn't have a click track. We played to the original map, the tempo map of Don Brewer's drums. We didn't use any of the original recording whatsoever, but we did make a tempo map so that we could follow. You know, drummers, man, when they get excited, they speed things up.
Yeah.
Why? Because they're humans, and humans like to listen to human stuff. You know, when they do a drum fill, a lot of times, a lot of drummers will get to one before the rest of the band does because they're excited about these fills that they're doing. So you have to kind of anticipate that. And in this presentation and this re-record that we did, I think we got it. I know we got the tempo map. It's exactly what Brewer played, and the guy who played the drums on this, Joshua Egan, he played Ludwig drums, the same drums that Brewer recorded the original one with. So there's no tempo map. I mean, there's no click track. It is the tempo map, and it's real. It goes, it's all over the place, man. It's the tempo is up and down. I mean, you know, it's not locked right in. It's human, just like us. and that fade is there. It is all there, and the background vocals just keep going, and it just keeps going on and on and on and on. And yeah,
Again, it's the kind of fade out, and I love songs that do that. That just, especially when you end an album on that note, a
yeah,
vinyl on that note, because you're just kind of you feel it just kind of taking you and drifting you off into nothingness at that point, and you're
man.
experiencing and feeling it. So I think that is cool. I'm glad to hear that you're doing that. So
All right.
the new album, Closer to My Home, releases on November 8th, and
Yes.
I, for one, looking around me here in the store, am happy that you're pressing this thing on vinyl. I know it's coming out in CD, and you're
Yeah.
probably going to work some streaming license out, but I'm happy that this is on vinyl. Right
Thank
now, though, how can folks pre-order this?
It's red vinyl too, Jim.
That is cool. Also, I saw.
Yeah. They can go to markfarner.com to pre-order, and all the pre-orders will be signed by yours truly. The vinyls and the CDs will be signed by me, and you'll be able to get it on all the sources. I mean, for streaming, but to get a physical copy, markfarner.com.
Okay. I got to say, I already put my order in for a couple. So
Awesome. Thank you,
right
brother.
there for you too. Let's talk a little bit, if we could. Also, on your website, you have got a section on there called Farner Chords. Now, you touched on this a little bit earlier in talking about the tuning that you use and that you have used on this new album and that you like to use, and it resonates with folks. But you've gone so far as to create some instructional videos to teach other guitarists this method.
Yeah. Well, it's really my songs, because someone sent me a link and they said, "Hey, Farner, is this really how you play Sin's a Good Man's Brother?" So I click on the link, and it's this guy starting with chords that ain't even close. I went, oh my God. And then I look, and as I keep going, there's all these different guitarists, all these different bands who have covered Sin's a Good Man's Brother, a song that I wrote early on in Funkdom. And none of them, not one, played the right chords. the correct chords, I should say, that I played to, and listen, you got to hit the exact inversion to get those harmonics to ring the way the record rang. And so I said to Jimmy Romeo, who is this great videographer and friend of mine down in near Detroit, I said, Jimmy, I'm thinking about, man, doing some instructional videos to show guys that, you know, obviously somebody wanted to learn, you know, sin's a good man's brother. Why not learn it from the guy that wrote it and learn the chords correctly, bypass all the mistakes that were being made out there, and go right to the proper inversion of the chords and get this thing. He's going, man, Farner, that's a great idea. I can see it right now, man. He says 2 cameras shoot, one on your right hand, one on your left hand. And I'm starting to see it, you know. And I said, yeah, Jimmy, that's what we need, because, you know, when you're playing guitar, you got to think about picking as well as fingering the positions. And, you know, so he got it, a friend of his, who to run the second camera, and we went at recording, and we did, I think we got like 23 songs in the cans. So we every 3 or 4 months we release another Farner Chords video that includes the instructions, and it includes some of the live performance from the DVD from Chile with Love, So it shows, and because it's in 4/3/2 and I play in 4/3/2, it just kind of blends right in there. He crosses. He's such a man. He's a genius at what he does. He's very good. And I put it up there for free. I don't want to monetize somebody learning my, geez, just them playing my songs. That's enough satisfaction for me. For somebody wanting to play my songs that I wrote, man, make my day, pinch me. Do it like this. And, you know, I show them how to do it, and some keyboard songs as well. Cause a lot of people, some great keyboardists, they try to play foot stomping music. Not one played it right. I see you're making the wrong chord inversions. So I put those inversions up in Farner Chords, and people can learn foot stomping correctly.
Very cool. Now, folks can see these over on your website at markfarner.com, as well as the pre-orders for the new album. So all they got to do is head over to that website of yours. Now, Mark, a couple more minutes. I got you here for, but last time we talked a lot about Michigan music and the glory days of that in the late '60s and early '70s, where you guys came up with the likes of the Stooges and Seeger and all of these great bands that came out of Michigan. Michigan, I think, still rings true with a lot of great music. We've got some fantastic newer, and by newer in the past, I'm saying, 5-10 years or so, artists. The likes of Billy Strings, who's just a phenomenal bluegrass, but modern bluegrass player and picker,
I love
and jam band.
Awesome.
The likes of Greta Van Fleet. These guys are all relatively new speaking, especially somebody that's been around like you guys have. Do you, as someone who is still going strong after 50 plus years in the music industry, do you have any advice for a lot of these younger artists that are beginning to break out, especially the Michigan artists, that could help them with longevity in their creative process and their performances down the line?
Yes, I do. I think it's important to tune to 4/3/2, get out of A440, go back to what the tuning standard was before Rockefeller changed it in 1953. Think about those words I just said, and try recording instead of laying down the drums to a click track and then everybody putting their part on and play it just like you would on stage. The way Grand Funk recorded was Brewer was the click track. Let your drummer be the click track. Record it old school and let some real funk come out. I know it's in there, but you're not going to define it having AI leading the way. You got to lead the way with your heart. Let that human essence of who you are, you guys, put it together, mean it, and love on the audience, love on those listeners.
Little rock and roll soul, so to speak.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is what I'm saying.
There we go, sir. Well, absolutely fantastic talking with you again. Mark Farner from Mark Farner's American Band, solo artist, and the brand new album, Closer to My Home, coming out on November 8th. And folks can pick that up by heading over to your website at markfarner.com. Any last words you want to leave us with, dear sir?
Yeah, the lyric video is coming up November 1st. It's being released on YouTube, and it is to the song Real, which is the second single. I'm Your Captain. It's a cut down version. It's kind of like what Capitol did, you know, back in the day in 1970. They wanted a version that they could play on AM radio, which was, I mean, like just a little over 4 minutes.
Yeah.
But FM, as you know, Brother Jim, the guys who were just the jocks, man, they would spin that, or MacArthur's Park, or it didn't matter. They would spin those long cuts because, man, people were tuning into them. And the DJs kept our community together. They kept our rock community rock solid. Man, we were listening to these guys. They were advising us, showing us stuff. I remember, man, when Bob Dell in Flint, Michigan at WTAC played Hush. Oh my God, Deep Purple, Hush. Oh, I thought I heard a call my name now. Oh man. And that oh, that B3 organ. Oh my God. Yeah. So yeah. But be real. You know, try not to pigeonhole, or try not to make your music sound like somebody else. Just let it be you. Let it be unique. And if somebody criticizes you, don't let them put you in debt to their expectations on what they want to hear. You give them your heart.
Sound advice. Very much so. Mark Farner, thank you very, very much for joining us here on the Radio Wasteland Records YouTube channel. As always, we wish you the best, and I'm really looking forward to this new album coming out. Like I said, I've got mine ordered, and we'll see what we can do to get a couple more here for the store as well. But best of luck to you, sir. Stay busy. I know you got some touring coming up in December as well, and I hope you keep her going strong, man.
All right, brother. Brother Jim Gleason, thank you so much for having me, and you keep rocking, man. Rock 'em alive down there. And if I don't see you in the future, I'll see you in the pasture.
All right, man. Thank you so much again, Mark. Take care.